Yep, it's raining, so we gotta hide in the car today. But this is gonna be another weird away mission. They're mine. These are my away missions. I can do what I want. This one isn't gonna apply to like many of you probably. This is gonna be about like the last video or the one before last, specifically. The one Star Trek on PS1. I didn't think that video was gonna like perform the way it did. It was kind of a joke. But I figured it would be another one of those videos that was just going to top out at like 100 views, maybe. No, it's cruising into the thousands. It's like 2.2 thousand, something like that. I don't know. For me, that's good. But that video brought in subscribers, I believe, because we are one subscriber away from 300. Right now, we're one subscriber away from the big 300. And when a specific thing brings in subscribers, it always makes me think that I'm supposed to keep going in that direction of that video. And to be honest, the 3D modeling stuff is like why I made the channel. So I do want to keep going with that. If I could somehow just do really good with modeling, I'd probably just do that. but alas, we have to review things, and they have been gratifying, the reviews. The last Star Trek Con review video I did, somebody said that they got into the series just because of these videos. And I did notice that not a lot of people are trying to like sell Star Trek on to people. There's like nobody talking about it. People seem to be watching it, but I scroll down on YouTube and I just don't see a lot of people talking about it. So anyway, I'm glad that I was able to sell somebody on it. But to the main point, and if you never saw that Star Trek PS1 video, or you didn't care about it or whatever, this doesn't concern you. But got a lot of great constructive comments on that video. I've taken them all under consideration for if and when we do the next Star Trek PS1 video. I don't know what it's gonna be. Star Trek Next Generation on PS1. I have no idea. I just called it PS1 because it was cute. I just wanted to get people to look at it, and people are kind of into that aesthetic now. And to the complaints that were very constructive and good. Thank you very much. Yes, I understand. Number one, when we go into it, here's what we're going to fix. Number one, higher poly count. That's a given. Number two, less wobble. I thought the wobble was a little bit too much when I made it. Turns out that's what people agree with me. These things were overdone. The poly count underdone. The wobble overdone. Because I was really trying to sell the idea, right? I was really trying to play to the back of the theater with that one. I understand the problem. Those two things are going to be fixed if and when we have another video in that style. There's two more things people were saying, though. One of them was the garage shading. I knew what that was. I knew there was a problem with the lighting and the shading in the video. My version of Blender does not natively support changing it to garage. And it looks very complicated to get around that. It looks like it's going to be very hard. And then the last one is the textures. I understand that the textures were too smooth. They weren't crunchy enough in that video. And that's going to be a harder one to solve because specifically with TOS, but Star Trek in general, the surface details are kind of low usually. The ships are smooth, right? It's how do you can I get Aztecing across with the texture that looks crispy enough to look like it could be on the PS1? I don't know. I want to try that definitely. It has to do with the dithering, I believe. I was looking this up. And I need to have crispier textures that imply more detail than is actually there, even though with Star Trek, the ships are not full of greeblies, if you know what that is. So that could be a little bit of a challenge. But the easy things to fix are the less wobble and the wobble should be camera dependent. I knew that. And number two, what was it? Higher poly count. So the two easy things to fix: poly count, wobble. Two harder things to fix: the text, something to do with the textures, and the garage shading. We're gonna work on that if and when we move forward with another video like this. But thank you very much to everyone who came in from that video, and thank you for the constructive criticism. It's interesting to me that people really kind of glommed onto that one. It was on the back burner for a while. It's just something I was doing as a joke, and now I see people are interested in more of it. That's cool. Another interesting comment I got was people suggesting that I haven't seen a PlayStation game. I did see a PlayStation game. I own a lot of PlayStation games. I own a lot of PlayStation 1s. I own a big stack of them. I have an idea of what PlayStation games are supposed to look like, and I also have an idea that it's actually going to be hard to get that perfect, because there's things I wanted in the video that nobody mentioned that I can't figure out how to do, like beyond texture warping. Not texture warping, the vert snapping, you know? I wish I could get the textures the way they pop up and down like that, and sometimes you can see behind the polygon, you can see black things, like the blackness behind stuff. I wanted that. It's hard. Somebody said I should see what these PS1 games look on a CRT. I know what they look like on a CRT. I play PS1 games on a CRT like, I don't know, every day almost. But I was just really, it was heartening to see it. Like the people, there's somebody suggesting I play Colony Wars on the PlayStation. I love Colony Wars. I own Colony Wars since it came out. I have Colony Wars, the original one, and have Colony Wars Vengeance. I think that's what it was called. These games are great. I know Colony Wars, and I wish I could get it to look exactly like that. But to look exactly like that, do we have the time? You have to. If for you, it's just a crapshoot, like on what you're working on. The only thing you can do is see where the views are going, right? In this game, right? The views are definitely going towards the 3D short videos I've been making, right? Like with the Voyager A, my different one with the Proto Drive, which I wish would show up. I wish that's how Prodigy Season 2 went. But that's where the views seem to be going. People seem to like it. So, that being said, I should divert more time towards just doing that. And if that's the case, then the next, if there is another Star Trek on PS1 style video, it should take like twice as long to make, right? To make it even better. But to determine how much time you take when nothing else is a factor, you essentially have to go off what people are actually looking at. That's just giving people what they want, right? And unfortunately, that means you step on people who, who were enthusiastic with something else, but never got up to the numbers that, would warrant more time, because we have the away missions, we have this Star Trek Con, and we have, like the side videos, like the Star Trek on PS1, that was a side one, just a project. And they're always kind of coming. They're always kind of in the background. And then when Starfleet Academy shows up, that's harder to do than the Star Trek Con videos because of the different production. And someone did mention that I should do videos on the ship and all that, like with the 3D stuff behind me, because everybody does videos with memorabilia in their room behind them. Yeah, I know. I know everybody does that. This was an experiment. I never do that, right? So I just try it one time to see what it was like, because this is a very experimental Star Trek show, so why not marry the two and do a different style of review? And someone's like, why don't you do the stuff with the 3D background and all that stuff? I do it. I love it. It takes time. I have to get the uniform on. I have to do all that. I have to render everything. It's more complicated to render the editing is a lot more complicated in those styles of reviews. I have to come up with a 3D video every time. Every video has a unique 3D CGI piece at the beginning that it's hard to come up with a new creative one that's kind of at least interesting to look at every week. It's kind of rough, but that's what I've been doing, and it's definitely easier to do the Star Trek Con videos, but the Starfleet Academy videos will be back in the original style, so don't worry about losing out. And I don't want to look like every other Star Trek reviewer or reviewer in general. My what I wanted to do going into this was have a video that immediately from frame one does not look like the other videos. Okay, that was part of it. And hopefully everybody sticks around that signed up, subscribed recently. I think like 15 subscribers overnight came in from that Star Trek PS1 video. Very cool. Thanks for all the constructive comments. And that about does it for me, Lieutenant Merrick. And I'm going to see you when I see you next. So long.